Welcome. This is Linda Eschentil from Linda E Speaks. At this moment, I'm in Harvard University in Boston. In a few hours' time, I'll be on a plane heading across the big pond to Australia. But before I leave here, I was inspired to do this message to you because so many people while I've been here have been asking me about what is 3D reality in the spiritual terms. So we have 3D, 4D, 5D, and the 6th and 7th dimension. So the D stands for dimension. Now we're not talking about physics, we are not talking about geometry, we're talking about the terminology used in spiritualism. So third dimension. That is the majority of people who walk on planet Earth. So third dimension is what we can see, what we can feel, what we can taste. So in other words, anything that is unseen is not within our vision. And that is what humans tend to be on this planet before they have an awakening to their true sense, their true worth when it comes to who they are. And that is, we are a spiritual being having a physical incarnation on this planet, and that this is just our outfit, our cloak. So in this three-dimensional or 3D existence is that we just do not see, feel, and know anything other than that. But the problem is that it's not allowing you to feel the true essence of who you are and to feel all the other experiences and any of the deja vus that they have and any of the intuitive feelings is that it's just dismissed. But there comes a point in your spiritual awakening which has been predestined before you were born, is that there's a certain period, a certain time in your life that suddenly you become awakened. And that awakening is when you move out of the third dimension into what's called the fourth dimension. In that fourth dimension, if you happen to be in that is when you start to get curious about what else is there in life. Why is it that I have deja vus? What is my intuition telling me? Where is this coming from? What is my life's purpose? You start to get interested and you start observing more than what you've seen before. And opportunities seem to come your way that you had not recognized before in the awakening process. This is a term that in spiritualism we talk about, in that when you are awakening to the true sense and self of who you are, a spiritual being, having a physical incarnation. So that beginning of the fourth dimension is when that curiosity starts to morph into more realistic feelings that you can't dismiss anymore. Those events that happen that can't be a coincidence anymore. You'll be awakened to seeing workshops. You'll come across people who are like-minded in trying to find their spiritual journey or their life's purpose. They start to question. It seems appropriate that I'm talking about this in Harvard University, one of the most highly prestigious universities in the world, where only the learned, greatest scholars would learn, but they're learning information that is passed down in the 3D world. And I'm not dismissing that, but I'm saying there's a lot more to learning than that. And when you're in the fourth dimension, that's when you start to learn a whole different vocabulary, different science of life. And that is when you will learn that by reading, YouTubing, meeting people, workshops, and then of course, listening to your own intuition. So that is that is what fourth dimension is, when you've started in there. And mark my words, when you're awakened, you can't go back to sleep because you are so excited about knowing more. It's like this being at university, the University of Spiritualism, the university of the true sense and of who you are and the true knowledge, and you yearn for more information. And that's when your awakening, which has been predestined at a certain time in your life before you were even born, your spirit is yearning to wake you up. So is that you connecting more to the other bodies that I did talk about in an earlier information session to you, which is your physical, mental and emotional bodies. And the fourth one, of course, is your spiritual. So your spiritual body is trying to make your emotional and your mental bodies all say, hey, there's more to this. Then you start to work more in harmony with it. So that is the fourth. So we're in this fourth dimension then, and I've already said you can't go back to sleep in this awakening stage, and you're starting to wake up even more. Many people will stay in the upper fourth dimension because they're very attached to their materialistic world, and that in letting go of that, they actually can't move into the fifth. And the fifth is the reality of who you truly are. So it is not your material possessions that define who you are. It's your spiritual self that defines who you are. And it is not the work that you do, the job that you have at all. So you're starting to move into this fifth dimension. There are many people, 10%, I would say approximately, of the population of the world that actually moves into that fifth dimension. And you will notice the differences in your life. You will want to change jobs. You will want to learn different things. You want to attach more to nature. I suggest you often take your shoes off, walk in sand, put it in the ocean water, walk on grass, anything that's earthy. And then from there, you will notice more opportunities coming for you to further awaken, so a new job will come along that is more in keeping with your life's purpose. You might change relationships, even though it might seem hard. There is a reason, because you may not. Relationships is, I'm talking about your personal partnership relationships, relationships with friends, colleagues. You'll find that many of the things that you used to be attracted to with them is no longer attractive to you. It doesn't mean to say that the people that you're with don't have any value to you anymore, not at all. It's just that you yearn to have other experience with other people. So you'll feel that these people will actually drift out of your life and new people will come in. It's called the law of vacuum. Whereas until things can disappear, then of course you can't have new things come in. That goes for material possessions, and that's when you will find that you feel cluttered and trapped with attachments with material things. You'll want to give it away. You'll feel free to give things away, also if you choose to. And that is when you're in the fifth dimension. You've got a new job, new people, new way of thinking, and then you actually start to feel liberated, lighter. You'll connect more to the true sense of who you are, and these wonderful opportunities will start coming your way that is in keeping with your life's purpose, the truth of who you are. And there'll be this symbiotic movement of your whole four bodies in how you are expressing the true sense of who you are, and you'll have a sense of joy and harmony and peace and connectedness, and that is when you're in the fifth dimension. Now, I won't talk much about the sixth or the seventh dimension, because they are the people that are the Buddhists that are enlightened in the sixth and seventh dimension. Gurus, the true gurus, who can actually transcend and move between dimensions at will. In the fifth dimension, in the upper fifth dimension, that's where you can move between at will and with knowledge different dimensions, which is like a veil. We live simultaneously in other realities. In the upper fifth dimension, you can do that at will. So in other words, your dream state will become real to you. And the true gurus, or I should say the more seasoned gurus, spiritual mentors, are the ones that actually can glimpse past the veil, and they call them clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsensual, and they can do that at will, or sometimes it spontaneously happens. So these are in the upper five and the early sixth dimension. In the seventh dimension, it's very difficult to be anchored on planet Earth. They feel a sense of detachment, so I won't go into the seventh dimension here. So that's what we've talked about today. Third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension, and I urge you all to look forward to being in the upper four and early five in the dimensional. So if you want any more information, please give me a call, visit my website, send me some information about where you think you're at and where you think that you'd like to be. I bid you farewell from Harvard University in Boston in the United States. Next time we'll speak, I will be in Sydney, Australia. Goodbye.